How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be making this arcade marquee light box for one of my buddies at work. If you want to see how this project is made, stay tuned and I'll be glad to show you. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure my marquee so I can go ahead and cut a piece of plexiglass to support it. And it looks like I got about 25 7/8 by about 8 inches on the dot. And now that I have my plexiglass cut, I can set that to the side, and what I want to do next is start cutting out the frame, and for that I'm just going to start by rough cutting the yoke. And now I'm just going to make a couple passes on my jointer to make sure one side is completely flat. And now I'm going to rip all my boards down to their final width of 2.5 inches. So now that I have my frame cut down to the final width, before I do the final length, I want to go ahead and cut a groove in the front of my frame that's going to allow my plexiglass and marquee to slide in place. And I want that to be fairly tight, but I also want to leave a little bit of room so my marquee can slide in there as well. And I'm just going to do that by making a couple passes on my table saw. So now that I have the grooves cut for the plexiglass, I want to go ahead and take my two short pieces and cut them to their final size. And I went ahead and set up a stop block so they'd be dead on. And now that I have both of my short ends cut to their final length, I want to go ahead and cut a rabbet into the end of each side. So now with both my rabbets cut, I can go ahead and kind of temporarily install some of my pieces, and now I can go ahead and mark the length and cut both of my long end pieces. And now that I have the frame cut to its final dimensions, the last thing I want to do is cut in a 3/4 inch groove along the back side of the frame, and this is going to allow me to set in a piece of 3/4 inch plywood. And now that I have a channel for my plywood to drop into, I'm just going to go ahead and measure the inside and cut a piece to fit. And this seems to fit in really nicely. Now before I go ahead and glue everything up, I want to go ahead and route out a couple spots so I can hang this flush on the wall. So now that I have these T-slots routed out, that's going to allow me to hang this flat up against the wall when it's all said and done. Now what I want to do next is go ahead and glue 3 out of 4 sides together, and the reason I'm gonna leave one side off is this is gonna allow me to make this magnetic. I'm gonna be able to clip it in place and take it off. That's gonna let me slide in my piece of plexiglass after I get done painting it, and it's also gonna let me be able to change my marquee if I wanna switch the signs that are in it or whatnot. So it's definitely the way to go instead of boxing it all in, then you're kind of locked in place. So let's go ahead and glue this all together. So after letting the glue cure, I went ahead and did a dry fit, and everything seems to fit together nice and smoothly. Now the last thing I want to do before I paint it is drill some holes for some magnets to go, and then I'll put the magnets in after I paint it. And last but not least, I can mix up some epoxy and glue the magnets in place. And last but not least, I'm gonna add the lights, and this is just a strip of LEDs. Now they do sell splices that you can connect end to end a lot easier, and it's a lot cleaner looking, but since nobody's gonna see it, this will work just as good. So let's go ahead and test it out. And that looks like everything's working nicely. And the cool thing about these are I can brighten and dim them to whatever I want. And now it's just a matter of sliding in my marquee and my piece of plexiglass. So with it all put together, I have to say I really like the way this came out. It looks pretty cool when it's all lit up in the dark as well. And having a dimmable switch is also a plus, because then I can set it to whatever's gonna look best for that particular marquee. So I would definitely recommend getting dimmable lights. And I also love having the side piece on here, so I can always change out the marquees if I want, or anything like that. So I'm sure my buddy will like this a lot. If you guys liked it, give it a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button for more, and if there's a project that you would like me to make in the future, leave it in the comments below and I'll see if I can get to it. So as always, I'll see you guys next Tuesday.